Hello everybody, I am Jarrett Ross, the GeneaVlogger, and welcome back to another Professional Genealogist Reacts. On today's video, I will be reacting to Finding Out the Truth, 23andMe DNA results from the Ma family official. Now this is a channel I am not really familiar with. I took a quick look through. It looks like one of those family vlog style channels, but what I couldn't find was anything describing what type of ancestral background they might have. From the looks of it, they look like some sort of Eastern Asian, but I honestly really couldn't tell you whether they were Filipino or if they were Chinese, or possibly even a mix of different Asian ancestries. The only real thing I could find was that they're in the US and nothing really beyond that. So hopefully they'll give a little background when we do the video. Now they obviously are doing 23andMe DNA tests, but it would be interesting if they do an Asian-based test like WeGene or 23andMe, because those tests give much more nuanced breakdowns for anyone of Asian ancestry. So I wonder if that's anything they've ever considered or maybe something they've already done. But I kind of doubt it because this video is from February 2nd, 2021, so it's just under a year old, so pretty recently. But that's all I'm going to say for now, but before we do jump into the video, please be sure to give it a like. That really does help me out. Also, be sure to subscribe and click that bell for notifications on future videos. With all that fun stuff said, let's jump into the video.
What's up, Ma fam? Welcome back to our channel. And if you guys are new here, my name is Ant.
I'm Christina.
And we have a very exciting video for you guys today. We are going to find out the truth about our ethnicities and where we came from. I don't even know where my wife's from.
What do you mean?
Dude, okay, we're going to explain a little bit. So we took a 23andMe test where they collect our saliva, we spit in a tube, and we mail it out. They email us back some results. So we're gonna find out today what we really... A lot of you guys, you write in the comments impressions of what you think we might be or what we are. I hear a lot about Christina could be Hispanic, and I get it because she eats a lot of chamoy, tajin, like every day.
Yeah, because I grew up in predominantly Hispanic areas all the time, so I'm always like exposed to that, and I'm eating like elotes, tajin.
I get it. She could be a little bit Mexican. And some of you guys also think that maybe I'm a little Filipino, or that I'm Japanese because I can make good sushi, or I'm Korean, or, you know, so I hear a lot of...
It's always the most random things that will make people be like, oh, he must be that. Like sushi? Oh, he must be Japanese. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that aren't Japanese that can make pretty good sushi.
Things. Okay, I can tell you guys right now that I'm 100% full Chinese, but I don't know. So that's why we want to look at these results. I've been to China. We're from the villages of a southern part in China. It's called Toisan, and that sounded so white.
That was pretty white.
I'm from a mountain area called Baksa.
Oh.
It's called
I've
Baksa.
never heard of that.
And we speak Cantonese, but when I speak to like my grandma, I couldn't even understand her. Are you even Chinese?
I'm pretty sure I'm Chinese. I've grown up with my parents always telling me that I'm Chinese. The way that you describe your village, it just is exactly how my parents would describe theirs.
Whenever I go to your house, your parents say you're Chinese. I've never had Chinese food at their house.
Yeah, you do. Well,
We've been married for what, 8 years?
Yeah.
We always have a different type of, it's like Vietnamese food at your house.
You know, my parents, like when we were growing up, they used to always cook a lot of Chinese food. There were like always fried fish dishes. There was like mapo tofu or chicken, Hainan chicken. Like all of those are like very Chinesey.
No, it's not. I rarely eat Hainan chicken at my parents' house.
But China is such a large country, I would imagine, and people can comment below, tell me if I'm wrong or right, but I would imagine that the dishes vary greatly throughout the entire country. I mean, I know things like dim sum is a Cantonese thing, and I'm pretty sure that the difference between like southern style Chinese food is very different from northern style, is it also opposed to from some of the areas from more of like Western China. But then again, I'm not really sure. Most of what I know of Chinese food is based on just my American, knowledge, which honestly, I think I have a little bit more of a knowledge than most Americans, and that's probably not even saying that much, honestly. So comment down below. Let me know. Does it vary a lot, the different dishes, and especially what's common throughout China? And did anything she say was those are actually common Chinese dishes, or more of like an American-style Chinese dish?
I don't eat fried fish at their house.
Oh.
Steamed fish.
There
With
we go.
with the green onions and
Yeah.
the soy sauce, the oil, and the ginger. Yeah, that's what we eat. That's Chinese style.
Okay. Well, I think over the time they just started to like Vietnamese food more. Ever since like I was younger, my whole life growing up, I would ask my parents what we are, and they're like, "You're just Chinese. You're 100% Chinese." But then like one thing that they used to always do was that every time they would talk crap about us, they would always speak in Vietnamese. And I felt like a lot of my
Speak in
Chinese friends, like
Vietnamese.
their parents did the same thing.
How do they know how to speak Vietnamese?
Yeah, that's why I'm so curious, because they speak Chinese, they speak Chu Chao, now they speak Spanish. Like, yeah, it's crazy. They speak Mandarin.
Are you Mexican?
I mean, I could be with everywhere that I grew up and stuff. Like, really excited to find out the results, because my parents were saying that maybe when the French came over into Vietnam, maybe someone got busy in our family history.
With a French person?
Yeah, with a French person.
So you got
yeah.
a little wee.
If that is true, it should hopefully come up in the DNA results.
No, I don't have a wee wee.
I'm not saying wee. I'm saying, well, I don't know. I don't
You just made it so weird.
know any French words except the sound effects that they make, like in the movie. Well, I'm gonna pull up my computer here, guys,
Alright.
and we're gonna find out what the results say. Oh, okay, I'm excited for this.
Me too.
Looking at my 23andMe, I am 87% Chinese. What a shock! Okay, I know that, but this is the real shock. I am almost 6% Vietnamese.
What?
I had
That's a huge percentage.
my mom is in the backyard taking care of the kids right now while we're filming this. She doesn't even know this. I'm gonna tell her right after, or maybe I should bring her in and tell her.
You can. You've always made comments about me being Vietnamese, but like...
Because all you guys do is eat Vietnamese food. Somehow the Vietnamese and Chinese did some like,
See, now
this
you're trying
together.
to talk about
And
And I also have a question with that too, and I think this comes up with anyone getting any sort of Asian results through 23andMe. How strong are they able to decipher between Chinese and Vietnamese DNA? And how much of a population ancestral connection is there between what they're defining as Vietnamese and Chinese? But of course, it could be that they are able to decipher it pretty well. And at 13%, that would be about a great-grandparent of full Vietnamese ancestry. Of course, assuming that's coming from one ancestor. So there is a possibility that if this is true and it is coming from one ancestor, then whichever side it's from, that parent may actually know about it. Although I should say, I think, did he say 6%? For some reason, I was thinking 13%. So if it's 6%, that'd be more second great-grandparents.
that's how it happened. So that leaves me with another percentage, and that's 4.4% Chinese dye. I have never heard of Chinese dye.
I've never heard of that before. That's...
Do you guys like? Okay, let me look at what a Chinese dye is real quick.
Chinese dye, D-A-I.
It says the majority are from the Han Chinese. That's like back in the days when it was like the Han Dynasty. And my dad told me stories about stuff like that before. But
that was, hold on, going back, look, regions with significant populations, Myanmar, Vietnam, China. And then Vietnam has 700,000, about 700, or I guess 650 to 700,000 more people who have this Dai people ancestry. So maybe that's what it is with the Vietnamese, is that he has this Dai ancestry and they just aren't able to decipher it as well. I don't know, this is pretty interesting. I didn't know Ancestry gave this type of a nuance in their Asian results. But of course, this is also pretty recent, so, you know, they may have improved things.
back in the days when it was like the Han Dynasty, and my dad told me stories about stuff like that before. But it also says we're actually more similar to our Vietnamese neighbors.
That makes sense.
It's kind of crazy. And it says that Dai means freedom, which is kind of what it means in English too. Right? Once we die, we're like...
So added together, the 6% and the 4.4%, that's 10.4. So maybe that is a great-grandparent. And both the Vietnamese and Dai is coming from the same ancestor.
set free like angels. And
No, I was not thinking it was freedom, but...
that's what it says, you know?
Sure, yeah.
So honestly, from reading that, I still don't know what Chinese Dai people are. So I'm kind of excited that I have some Vietnamese background in me. I think that's why I love eating pho so much, and I'm always making egg rolls, like all the
Everyone always relates what their ancestry is to food. But I imagine I'm not the only person who's noticed that.
time.
Uh-huh. You know what? He used to make fun of me all the time for eating Vietnamese food. Okay, so I'm gonna check mine now.
But I tell you right now, She's like 100% Vietnamese, not even Chinese.
Oh my god.
You're an imposter.
I am not.
No, what I really want to find out is that our two villages are not neighbors, and then like somehow we end up cousins and stuff.
No, I've always wondered, because the way that you described the village, I'm like, I wonder if we came from the same village. I hope we're not related.
I just hope we're very far villages in southern China and we have no relation.
You know, another crazy thing that I just remembered about us when we first started dating, our last names. So your last name is Ma. My last name is Feng, before we got married.
Okay. When you write out the Ma, it's like, I'll put it in for you guys. This is what the Ma looks like, and this is what the Feng looks like.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same except for a few strokes.
I just have these 2 strokes, and it's so weird, so I'm just like,
Stop looking at me like that. What the
That's
hell?
so weird. All right, okay, moving on. Let's go to mine now. Okay, so the results are in for mine, and it says that I'm 64.6% Chinese.
64%?
Yeah.
So you're like basically a mutt. What kind of
I guess
Chinese
so.
are you?
Well, I guess our main Chinese language, other than Hakka, would be Cantonese, because we've never learned Mandarin. I went to Chinese school to learn Mandarin, but
Right.
that wasn't like the main language that we spoke. So the next one is that I'm 32.8% Chinese Dai. The last part is I'm 2.3% Vietnamese. So that means you are more Vietnamese than I am.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm half the percentage of you being Vietnamese.
I used to think you're like 50% Vietnamese.
I mean, I thought I was more than 2.3%. Yeah. I
What?
thought I would have been more Vietnamese than you.
No wonder.
That's so weird. No wonder what?
No wonder as a
does
kid
that
I just
mean?
always said, don't mind.
I don't think that makes you Vietnamese. You just were a bad kid. So we're basically the same. It's just our percentages are different. So that means that we're not from the same village and we're not related. So there's no white. There's no like islander.
And you?
Yeah.
What
Not really,
what
right?
did you think you were going to be?
I was hoping I would have something exotic because like these light eyes, my light skin. If you look at my mom, her eyes are even lighter than mine. Like she has cat eyes. She has like different variations of colors in it, and it's kind of like, I don't know.
All right, so we learned a lot about ourselves today. In the next videos, you guys might be seeing a lot more of finding out. Like, I want to find out more about the Vietnamese culture because I know nothing about it. I want to explore.
Yeah, I think we can probably ask my parents more about it now. Now you're gonna embrace it because you know that you're Vietnamese.
Why are you smiling like that?
Because this whole time you had no idea, and now it's
Yeah.
like that's a part of you. That's actually a part of both of us. More so of you.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest reason why I wanted to take this test was because I wanted to know what we truly are so we could tell Leia and Enzo what they are. You know, I for sure knew we weren't full Chinese.
Yeah, true.
So I want to be able to tell them, like, what percentage are they? We'll bring you guys along a journey of our new ethnicities.
We're gonna start embracing it more.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Well, that was an okay video. One of the videos where they didn't actually put the percentages up on screen, which is always kind of disappointing because a little bit harder to actually decipher everything and really analyze it. But as I said, I think a big question in my mind is how well is Ancestry able to decipher some of these different Asian population groups, such as Vietnamese and Chinese, and then they obviously have this Dai Chinese as a population group that they've set. But basically, what kind of complications are there in deciphering between all of those? I would definitely be interested to see any results from any of the Asian-based DNA tests because, you know, with their results from Ancestry, I imagine the Asian-based DNA test would be much more nuanced than what they are getting here. And of course, another route that they could take is getting their parents to test. They talk a lot about their parents here, so I imagine their parents may be willing to test. And maybe they will find that both parents for both of them will have that same sort of mixture of Chinese, Dai Chinese, and Vietnamese. So basically in the same way that if their kids took a DNA test, they'd be a mix of them and they were all a mix of Chinese, Dai Chinese, and Vietnamese, well, then their kids are going to be too. And I also wonder what their genetic matches look like because I imagine they might have some pretty interesting matches in there. And, you know, it would also be a good look to see, you know, how big is their database with people with these type of ancestries? You know, are they finding a lot of people that are connected to their villages? You know, they had very specific villages they mentioned. Are they finding a lot of matches that also have ancestral connections to those same villages? So a lot of interesting things to consider, and there's definitely a lot more they could do to test further to get a more nuanced idea of their true ancestry. So, you know, one thing he was saying was that, you know, we wanted to learn our true ancestry and all that, but these admixtures need to still be understood as an estimate. And yes, it gives you a good idea of your ancestry, but you need to think of it as it's a pixelated view of your ancestry. And to truly see it, you would need to use the DNA in conjunction with genealogical research. Now, if you'd like to learn more about how to do really good genealogy research, and especially adhering to what's known as the genealogical proof standard, be sure to check out this video of mine right here. And if you enjoyed, please be sure to give this a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You can also click right about here if you'd like to subscribe. It is completely free to do so. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at GeneaVlogger. I'm the GeneaVlogger. See you in my next video.